is, for those of you who don't know,
Mm-hmm.
we're reading the book Limitless by Jim Quick. Phenomenal book. And my book bar is at page 137, where he talks about, if I'm not mistaken, 4 tips. What was it again? Here are 10 recommendations for generating limitless brain energy. So he gives a few tips on how to generate brain energy, right? 10, if I'm not mistaken. And the 4th one was killing ants. When I read that first, I was like, what are you talking about? And he says ants basically are automatic negative thoughts. And if you're like most people, you place limitations on yourself in the form of these thoughts, at least some of the time. Maybe you tell yourself that you aren't smart enough to learn a new skill, rather, or even you'd really like to have. And then he says, or perhaps you repeat on an endless loop of how to push yourself to accomplish something. To accomplish something is only going to lead to a disappointment. So at the end of the day, you know, you want to kill those ants. You want to kill those thoughts that keep creeping up on a consistent basis, even if you feel like you don't have certain skills or even competencies. You gotta push forward. You gotta look at it as a way of, okay, I'm learning today.
Right. That's awesome, man. I appreciate you sharing that book, Bob. But again, with all the technical difficulties, it's 316, guys. Readers are leaders, or leaders are readers. And every Soundboard Sundays that we are here, we love to talk about a book that, or some sort of bar from a book that we are either reading together or that we've read, you know, in the past, because, you know, investing on your education, your personal development, those are habits of the rich. Those are habits of the mentally sound, right? You know, so that's what we're trying to do, is have the habits that get you essentially where you want to be. You understand what I'm saying? So that's what we're talking about today. I'm so excited to talk with you guys. Me and Max, we're talking about how to develop productive habits. And I said, yo, like, should we call them good and bad habits? And the answer is no, because good and bad habits, you know, are subjective to wherever you coming from. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? Which is weird, because it's like, you know, a good habit might not be aggression, you know, in the regular world, but, you know, let's say, you know, most high forbid, but let's say you got to go to prison. And, you know what I'm saying, some niggas is trying you. You gotta turn up. You know what I'm saying? You can't be like a soft little lamb in prison. So I don't want to say good or bad habits. I want to say productive or destructive habits. Productive or destructive habits. So first thing is like, why do musicians and songwriters, right, and recording artists, why do we need to formulate productive habits? You know, why is this even relevant to you, right? And so essentially I came up with 4 reasons as to why, you know, why we need to be talking about and discussing habits today, right? Bringing this to you, taking your time, watching this and staying on this live, right? So 1 is discouragement of setting goals and not following through, right? Have you all ever set a goal and not followed through? All right, so what ends up happening, at least to me, when I would set a goal, or even setting a goal now, because it doesn't necessarily have to pertain to music production or anything in the music arena, but just goals for life. If I happen to set a goal and I do not meet that goal, it's not just a loss of, oh, I didn't meet the goal. It's a mental loss. It's I've spent time and energy. You know, we were talking last week about the DISC assessment, you know, which is very excellent for everybody to take, to understand your personalities, how you think, take the mystery out of how and why you act and other people, right? The DISC assessment. So I'm high I, 99% interactive, right? So I remember setting a goal for like 7 years ago. I remember setting a goal, reading Think and Grow Rich, right? Which everybody ends up reading, right? Think and Grow Rich. And I set that goal of, again, what you want, your definiteness of purpose. And y'all, I set the goal at like $10,000 a month. And I wanted to make $10,000 by the end of the month. And I was already a week into the month. Already a week into the month. And so I write down, not only that, but y'all only finished 4 pages of the book. 4 pages of the first chapter. And I was like, yeah, good, let's run it up. I got it. Let's do it. Let's do it. So I have my statement all ready to go. I'm saying my statement, what I receive or whatever it happened to be. I'm saying this statement every day, like at the beginning of the day and maybe at like nighttime. And surprise, surprise, I do not meet my goal of $10,000 in that month. And when I look back on it, I wasn't going to meet that goal anyways. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't going to meet that goal anyways because one, I didn't have the habits that were going to be required to meeting that goal. I had no plan mapped out to meeting that goal. I had music production, but I had no plans on how I was going to get that music production to people, at least 10 people paying me, or I think my prices probably at that time were somewhere in between like $200 and $500. So that means that I needed to reach 20 people, at 20 people at $500 or 50 people at $200, right, to make $10,000. I had no understanding about that at all. I was just like, yeah, let's go get it. Let's run it up. That's what Napoleon Hill said in the first 4 pages of the book. And I was like, yeah, let's get it. What ended up happening, though, is that ended up crushing my spirit. And I almost didn't set another goal for, I don't even know, some years after that. I didn't set a goal for some years after that because I hadn't run the play, but I was too hard on myself. I didn't have a strategy. It was just that simple. I didn't have a strategy for identifying the habits and then building these habits to going after my goal of $10,000 a month or whatever it was, or even setting a realistic goal, or even examining myself and saying, yo, am I specifically the person right now today or that day who could achieve this goal? And so that's why it's so important to you right now. Because reason number one is discouragement of setting goals, not following through. That stuff will, man, kill all of your energy and can kill your business. If you're a person like myself who takes these things personally and, again, who wants to achieve and who wants to be creative, who's got music to get out to people, who wants to get on stage and perform, right? You need to form habits for that one reason. Second reason is productive habits allow more space for the creative flow, leading to a more enjoyable and productive studio session or show, right? If you're doing a show, this is also for the performing artists, the emerging performing artists, and emerging music producers, musicians. When you have those habits in place, you already know that, yo, I got that, this, that, and the other. I'm already working on autopilot, so I can keep my brain set to more maybe ethereal things. Like how do I want to touch people at this show? Okay, that's number 2, right? Number 3 is productive habits allow for better time management. All right. Most of the people that we talk to, you guys are adults, professionals in something, whatever it is that you're doing. You all are professionals. You all have lives. Some of you all have families. Some of you all have careers, that are not serving you. Let's just be honest about it, and you want to get to doing something else, but you can't leave your career, which is completely understandable because sometimes it doesn't make sense to leave a career and just go head on out for something that you don't exactly know the strategies to working it. If that's one of the reasons why you're pursuing music. So to be able to have that work-life balance, where you're balancing family time, being time rich, right? That's a word. Donnie Wiggins, one of my coach, Donnie Wiggins, she talked about, again, being time poor versus time rich, and if you're a time rich, then you got things popped in places so that you're able to find extra time to do whatever, to hang out, to play some basketball, to play some video games. I don't have no problem playing with video games, right? You know what I'm saying? You got like 50, 60 years ago, before video games were even there, you had adult men who would go out and play baseball. You know what I'm saying? That's the same game that they played as a kid. Today, baseball is our video games. Call of Duty, all that type of stuff is our video games, but we need to have those productive habits so that we are time rich. And we are saying, hey, I got the time to play video games. Ain't nothing wrong with playing a video game. But if you, well-earned, exactly, well-earned. So the fourth reason is habits help the music creative struggling with discipline. Y'all, this hits personally to me. I can even still struggle with discipline, but it almost seems like, right, Max, like that creative people, can be kind of synonymous with being undisciplined, right? And so that's why you have the record labels who, like, it's these people who were extremely disciplined and not necessarily creatives, who are like, well, we're going to put in strategies and systems in place and things like that, essentially monetize your talent, and you be the talent, and at the end of the whole thing, the musician or the recording artist is all bitter because they're like, dang, that was my stuff, that was my work. Well, if you did not have the systems, the discipline in place, who was going to do that for you?
There you go. And I want to touch on that. It's interesting that you're saying that you want to have the record labels who are going to be strategizing or even planning your career, because as a creative, whether you're a songwriter or a recording artist, however you want to claim yourself, you want to understand that for the time you're going to spend recording music, you're not always going to focus on how to plan or strategize your career. So you got to leave that for a who. That becomes someone who's going to add that value to the table. And something interesting that I looked at when I watched Kanye's interview yesterday was that he said he's okay with knowing that he does not know how to read contracts, but obviously he knows how to read books. He knows how to comprehend contracts, but he doesn't want to give too much energy or even focus to that, because he knows he has to focus on the creative space. That's where you develop the habit of becoming that creative that strictly focuses on the creative space. Then you could look at other ways to develop your other talents, but you want to make sure that you focus on what you're really strong at, and leave that to another person, whether it's a record label or even other individuals who know us, you know what I mean?
Yeah, your who's. Like, that was an awesome book. Really being focusing on your who's. As independent recording artists, as independent emerging performing artists and music producers, like, you are the brand, you are the executive of the whole situation, and you need who's to help you get to the higher levels, to the levels that you can dream about, right? You know what I'm saying? You should be dreaming. You should be dreaming. You should be able to see yourself, thousands and thousands of people, you know what I'm saying, in an audience, you know what I'm saying, like, singing the music to your song, right? And you turning off the music, right? And people are able to sing your music word for word. And let's hype that up even a bigger bit. Is they don't even speak your language. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, Max? Like, there's like, I remember seeing Lauryn Hill, right? She was performing The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill in Japan, right? It's a dope joint. Y'all got to watch that joint on, I think I saw it like on YouTube or something like that. But they chronicled the album. And, you know, she could turn the music off and they don't even speak the language. They can say her words, word for word, and rock out. That is special. That is special. That is extremely special. So you got to find your who's so that you can work on that creative flow, so that you can have better work-life balance and set those goals so that you can fight against discouragement. And the way that we're going to do this is developing habits. These principles I'm building off of are from James Clear's Atomic Habits book, which I highly recommend. Go ahead and get it out. I wish I had the affiliate link, because that's just what it is. You know, you guys could get the book and we could just keep this energy going, but I don't have it. I don't have the affiliate link set up right now, but go grab that book if you can, as soon as you can, because it's awesome to have in your frame of reference as to how to build these atomic habits. And that's what we're discussing, some of these points right here. So let's talk about it, right? What you need to do to form productive habits. I want to make sure that we say productive habits and not good or bad habits, right? So the first one that I have is from the book, from the book, was improve 1% at something daily. Improve 1%, just one, at something daily. So often, bro, and people in the audience, in the digital audience space, like we say we have these really big, high set goals that we want to do, right? But we're just gonna go real hard at it, not having examined ourselves and knowing, you know, what type of person we actually are. Some people legit can just be like, I'm about to go do it and do it. You understand what I'm saying? Classic case example is I smoked cigarettes from like habitually. I was addicted to cigarettes from like 12 years old to 27, 28, somewhere around there, you know? And so by the time I'm like 16, my sister's like 18, 19, my older sister. And so me and her, we both happen to be smoking cigarettes at the same time, y'all. She smokes for three months. 3 months. And she's like, yeah, you know, with these cigarettes, you know, I'm done with it. And quits them Jones. Right? And quits them Jones. Max, you've known people to have like that ability to just be like, oh, okay, I'm done with this. Or, oh, I'm not going to start this and I'm going on, right?
Yep.
It's so important to know ourselves and to just be honest and say, yo, either we have that or we don't, because if we can say, I don't have it, it's possible to say, okay, who can help me get it, right? Or what do I need? Trying to get rid of, how can I get it? Which you can ask yourself how, but the who, not how says instead of saying how, say who. So I'd like to say, right, to go along with that, I'd like to say,
yep,
what can allow me to establish habits because I lack in that space right there. But I don't have to stay there, right? So you get coaching or be around an environment, somebody, accountability partner, some way like that. So let's get back to it. Improving 1%. It is what, November the 7th, right? A lot of the majority of Americans and just people in the West period are going to start making affirmations and declarations for yourselves on the 30 or probably like the 25th of December, right? Come on the 25th of December, and you ain't gonna do nothing. You're going to say, I'm about to get in shape. Yeah, I'm about to get in shape. You know what I'm saying? I need to get in shape, you know, to be healthy, you know, for my body, to be healthy for so on and so forth. But you are not going to do it. And the reason why is that the goals are set really, 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 really high. And the goals are set really, really, really high. And you are not able to meet that goal because you've got life circumstances, you've got all sorts of other stuff going on, right? And then you sabotage yourself, and then you say, you know what, I suck at setting goals, so guess what? I'm not going to set another goal. That's what happens. That's exactly what happens.
As long as you don't, as long as you give power, as long as
Right.
you let tomorrow have power, you won't live for the moment. You will just think that this moment is just, you won't look at it as a practice, as something that you got to take serious in order to take you to the next level, or even to look at it from a perspective of, okay, you know what? I got 24 hours today. What are my daily habits? What do I do in the rising that's going to keep me consistent for the next few days? If you tell yourself that you could keep that habit, or you could keep those habits and become, you know, sort of that type of individual that makes those habits you turn those habits on autopilot, right? Once you have those habits on autopilot, what happens is that not only you become a better version of yourself, you look at it from a perspective. You also look at yourself from a perspective of, okay, you know what? I'm able to do this 1% effort on a daily basis. I'm able to increase my value 1% on a daily basis. Then when you go from 1% to 365%, which is really 1% every day, you realize that you're probably the biggest investment you have in the world, because you're able to invest consistently you're able to invest on a consistent basis, and it's going to give you a greater return, better than even reading a book, better than even, it's going to come from reading a book, obviously, but better than just reading a book, better than just investing in courses, but you're going to see that growth.
Compound interest is the term that you're trying to say, bro. It's compound interest. You know, people understand that in stocks, right? Building that compound interest, or just, again, if you invested 50,000, if you had a daughter right now, Max, or anybody joining live, if you guys had a child right now and your child is about to be born, right, and you invest $50 in a stock for them for the next 20 years, right? Them at 20, invest, what did I say, every month, $50 every month for the next 20 years. 50 years at 20, that compound interest just starts rolling, right? Versus if you start investing $50 right now in your 20 years from now, depending on how old you are, you could be 25 to 40, 45 or whatever like that. You'll never catch up to that young person, you know what I'm saying, who started immediately. That's the power of compound interest. And that compound interest goes the same way with doing something 1%. That's why we don't like to do stuff at like 1%, because it's like, yo, this ain't going fast enough. I need to go fast enough. But if you're not being honest with yourself and saying, like, wait a minute, hold on. Like, the 1% that I'm putting in daily to developing a new habit will build compound interest, you know, versus me trying to just put in 5%, or versus putting in 20% like right now and not doing nothing for another, couple months, you know what I'm saying, another year. That's what we're talking about, the compound interest, 1%. Right? Improve on something 1% daily. A new habit, whatever the new habit that you have, improve on it 1% daily. Right? And you set the goal needs to be easy. So often we look at ourselves and we're just like, I'm not about to set no easy goal. because, you know, I don't have time. I gotta hit it. I'm behind. I'm like older or whatever like that. No, you set an easy goal for yourself and have that and set up a system, which is, again, the habits, and you allow yourself to adopt that habit and have it be automatic. You're way better off, you know what I'm saying, than a person who is trying to just go headstrong into something. Y'all know what it is. We go headstrong into something and we do not fully, we commit and then we drop off. Posting to social media, right? Like we get the, oh, you know, build up your followers or build up this, that, and the other. And we post to social media and then something ends up happening. We either lose motivation or some circumstance happens. And then we just stop posting, right? We can't keep up with that same level because we did not improve on that habit of, let's say, posting quality content at 1%. So improving 1%. The next one is habit stacking, y'all. This was awesome. Okay, so they talk about the habit loop, right? And I need you guys to pay very, very, very close attention to this, okay? This is, honestly, listen, people are being entertained on lives right now, okay? People are being entertained on live right now. I know this is Sunday, but listen, we're trying to set things up for the rest of your life today, giving you these things to set you up for the rest of your life. So what is habit stacking? Well, let's go even back a step in Atomic Habits. They call it the habit loop, right? There is the cue, then there's the craving, then there's the response, and then there's the reward. All right, so smoking cigarettes, right? What's the cue in smoking cigarettes? Does anybody know what the cue is in smoking cigarettes? Can somebody put what is the cue to a cigarette smoker? Anybody know? Out there trying. You about to be out here winning out there trying. What's good? Wait for a little bit because IG got a little bit of a lag. But does anyone know the cue for smoking cigarettes? I'll tell you. It's a couple of them. 1, taking a dump. 2, having sex. 3, eating a meal. 4, being bored outside waiting for somebody. What else? 5, used to smoke cigarettes after I smoked my herb. What else? 6, on a little ride or whatever like that. 7, whenever I'm stressed out. That was 7. I had 7 different cues. And y'all cigarette smokers who watch this, y'all know exactly what I'm talking about, right? Y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. So there was the cue. Then there's the craving. Then there's I got the cue. Damn, I'm stressed out. Gosh, man. Like, then there's like how do I get out of being stressed out? Oh, smoke me a cigarette. Go grab my cigarettes, right? I need a cigarette. Cause if I just have me a little cigarette, man, I can just get off of that. You know what I'm saying? I can ease this pain, because that's essentially what we want to do, is we want to ease the pain, right? So that's the craving, right? The third thing is the response. So the response is, okay, what am I about to go do? I'm about to go either buy me a cigarette, I'm about to go find a cigarette. Y'all, it got really bad for me, Max. Transparency moment, bro. When I was smoking them jocks, man, like I was very, very, very addicted to the point where, like, if I had no cigarettes, I would be going into ashtrays, smoking a whole cigarette butts. I have to burn the back because we ain't nasty. You know what I'm saying? But I have to burn the back, burn the filter. But I was definitely gonna smoke somebody else's like leftover cigarette in a cigarette ashtray. That's the response, is go grab that, you know what I'm saying? Find where the cigarette is, light it up. The reward, that hit to the chest, that release of the calm, that release of the dopamines and the endorphins that come from that, right? That reward.
It can be a
It
meditation
could be a
for a lot of
meditation.
smokers. Yeah.
That is the the loop. That's the habit loop that we have got to watch out for, right? So habit stacking was an awesome concept. So habit stacking is saying like, all right, what do you do in your day? Max, what do you do in your day? I mean, first thing.
First thing. First thing
Nope.
I do,
Nope.
stretch, smile.
That's not the first thing that you do. What is the first thing that you do? There you go.
Open my eyes.
Open your eyes.
Open my eyes.
Next after that, what do you do?
So, I stretch, I smile, I thank God. I go into my little, ritual, whether it's a morning affirmation or rising affirmations or even positive thoughts, speaking out loud, and fix my bed.
Then you start meditating. Okay, so if you essentially wanted to build the habit of let's say you didn't say like talking to yourself in the mirror or anything like that. Did you have that self-love? Okay, so there's that self-love part where you are where again, right, you speaking affirmations, but it's like, I love myself. I'm a great guy or girl. That's so imperative to do like what's called mirror work. And that you'd have to fit that into that routine. So you have the routine of all those different things, but to have the habit stacking is you say, okay, when did you say you make breakfast?
I would say, yeah, right after I meditate, I start my breakfast. Well, I go to the bathroom, obviously, and then I do my breakfast after.
Okay, all right. So do your breakfast after you go to the bathroom. So let's say that you were like, I want to get in some mirror work or something like that, right? You're like, okay, so you have to acknowledge and say, after I use the restroom, I'm going to do mirror work and give myself talk to myself 3 affirmations in the mirror, right? 3 positive affirmations in the mirror to set my day. And then again, something real easy, or it can even just be 1. I am powerful. I am disciplined. Or, I have habits that allow me to be productive in my music journey. Something like that. And then you go eat your breakfast. That is what habit stacking ends up being. And the brain is already used to, that's one of like the more easier ways to add a habit in somewhere, right? Versus saying, I don't do this normally and I'm going to work out January 1st or whatever. I'm going to start working out, go to the gym for an hour January 1st. You're not going to the gym. You might do that for a week and that is it. Because the brain does not operate like that. The brain is like, no, like we've built habits of, playing video games, or we built habits of, of procrastination. So no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do what we normally done. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to get real excited. You say what?
Comfort.
Yeah. I'm going to do what's comfortable. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to do what's comfortable because that is the easiest thing for me to do. I'm not going to do what you want me to do for a long period of time, right? The book talks about I believe it's like motivation. It might be motivation or like almost like kind of self-control. That's the word it is. Thank you. It says self-control is a short-term thing. It's not a long-term thing. Self-control is a short-term thing. It's not a long-term thing. So you need to build these positive habits while the brain is like, is consciously working in a place of like, okay, let's be self-controlled and things like that, because that is not sustainable over a long period of time. So you need to be having those automatic. Oh my gosh, we're back. We are back. IG, you played yourself. IG, you played yourself. We are back. It had me in a stream of consciousness. I am extremely apologetic to all the good people who were on that live. We were going in, giving some of these gems. Appreciate you for joining us. We had a little technical difficulty right there. We were talking about habit stacking, right? And stacking these, stacking something that you already do together, right? With a new habit. You set a goal, you set a new habit, you say, you know, I want to sit down and at least map out a subject, you know, for writing music. If you're struggling with having topics for writing songs, right? If you're a songwriter, or if you are saying in music production, I want to, one of the big things when you're just starting out in music production,
right. Hold
on 1 second. I gotta be outside. One of the big things when you're just starting out in music production is that you, it's like three guys pushing their bottles, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, so anyways, if you are trying to, just knowing where to get started, right? I'm always pushing new music producers to learn your key commands. Learn your key commands, because those things help in your workflow. Singers, songwriters, and recording artists, the same thing too. If you happen to be, if you invest in yourself and invest in studio equipment, learning your key commands will actually help you out, because if you're a recording artist, you know, trying to be able to get to a place where you're attracting gigs, right? Where you need Max services and you need How to Track Gigs, Max's book, How to Track Gigs, as a performing artist. If you're trying to get to that place, you still gonna have to do the groundwork.
Yep.
Right? So knowing your key commands is very, very, very important. So you say, okay, all right, let's say you go to work, you come home, just regular schedule, 5, instead of coming back home immediately, you come back home, let's say you take a shower, you change your clothes, instead of like hopping in the television or hopping on Instagram or something like that, say immediately, you say, okay, before I get on the Instagram, I am going to spend 5 minutes messing around with my key commands.
Yep.
5 minutes just committing my key commands to memory, because that actually does help you in your workflow when you are doing music production in your independent studio, right? So again, working with those key commands. So that's an idea of habit stacking. It's 3:58, bro. Like we're not going to be able to give you guys all these things. We had some technical difficulties today. That's just what ends up happening.
It's just one of those days.
It's just one of those days. It's all good. It's all good. So, and it's great because, like, there's so much here. You know, there's so much here we don't want to overload. I'm getting at the, you know what I'm saying, that the Spirit didn't want us to overload anybody, and we want to give you an action step. So we can do it, honestly, bro, we can do a part two. Yeah, we can do a part 2 on this, on the atomic habits. Right, and the part 2 again is going to go over how long does it take to build a habit? Because everybody, right, we're all concerned about, you know, how long does it take to build a habit? You know, I don't got time for this, I don't got time for that. Well, if you know how long it takes, you can dedicate yourself and say, hey, listen, get everybody on board. I'm gonna, you know, again, work on building this specific habit, right? You know, and have an environment in a community. So, Tag, want to talk about a couple more things about building those habits. Mike, my guy Mike Pryor joined. Awesome keyboardist, you know what I'm saying, from the city and things like that. We're talking about, Mike, we were talking about how to develop and stick to productive habits and how to get rid of destructive habits, essentially because it's some of the same steps, but you just reverse engineer the stuff. All right. We started at 3 p.m. or a little bit after that. We had some technical difficulties today. We will definitely be doing a part 2. If you see this right now, I am Matty the Chef, McCaskill. I help musicians and songwriters produce better music faster. There's a myriad of ways. I'd love to just check in with you and tap in with you. If you can DM me the word habits, I'd love to set up a 15-minute call, a 15-minute clarity call with you, so that we can get that ball rolling. Because a lot of the time, it's not the motivation that you lack, it is the clarity. And when you have that clarity, then you're like, okay, boom. Especially people like myself who are not super disciplined and things like that. But when we have clarity as to what we're supposed to do, we can hit that jump. You know what I'm saying? So if you DM me habits, Max, if you don't mind, I'd love to say that Max's book, guys, you heard it today. The price is going up. It's getting awesome, really, really, really great reviews. People are getting helped. How to attract gigs as
an emerging artist, a guide to position yourself in a new digital entertainment economy.
There you go. Okay, the price is going up. You're still robbing the bag. The price is going up. You're still robbing the bag. By this time next week, the price will be, is it 47, yep. 48, or 49?
47.
Okay, $47. Okay, the price will be $47. All right, so get it now. If you get the book now, Max, if you get the book now, and you can text Max a receipt, you know what I'm saying? Text Max a picture of you downloading the book for $26. Max, will you set up a 15-minute clarity call with them as well?
Go, 15 minutes.
There you go. 15-minute clarity call on developing your strategy to attracting these gigs. All right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we ain't gonna hold you too long. You know what I'm saying? We ain't gonna hold you too long. You need to develop these habits. We talked about that in the last live that I posted, or that just kind of shut down on us or whatever like that. But developing habits is so imperative and again, for me, y'all, and for y'all, you all are creatives. You have to develop these habits, these things that will be able to work automatically, so that you're able to get into that workflow and produce more music. That is what we're talking about here. You can't attract gigs if you're not producing any music. You can't attract paying clients if you're not producing any music.
Yep, I remember Lil Wayne once said, you got to keep repeating, keep recording, going to the studio, because repetition is the mother and father of learning. You just got to keep doing it.
You got to keep doing it. You have got to keep doing it. And it's not all about, I asked, Max, I was in a forum, a Facebook group, and I asked folks, I said, what's it worth it to you, to be better at music production and things like that, or to create music? And a lot of people, honestly, were just like, it's my life. I mean, it is why I wake up. It is, I love to do music. It's my way to express myself. And a lot of the time, man, people, why does a performing artist who, like a Beyonce or something like that, why do they still get up on stage? And because they have to do that. They have to be artistically expressive. And so these people have formed habits. That's what we're talking about here. All right, guys. So again, the call to action. Oh, I did have a call to action. I did have an action step, right? Write out all your current habits. Write out all your current habits today. Like from the time that you wake up to the time that you go to bed, log that over the course of a week. right? This is some of the coaching. Log that over the course of a week. And then you're able to see, okay, this is what my habits end up doing. But you got to go step one. Step one is to be able to chronicle your habits. You know, what you actually do anyways, to be able to step outside and be aware of self, essentially. Chronicle those habits. Then you're able to say, okay, right in between, you know, eating breakfast and, you know, popping on social media, I have some time, or I can do something, you know, in between that. And we will be back, most high willing, you know what I'm saying? Yah willing, we will be back next week, Sundays, 3 p.m. for another Soundboard Sundays, episode 25, you guys. I appreciate you guys being here. Max, yo, like all the technical difficulties, I mean, it just is what it is, but
Part of it.
you know, yeah, it's part of it's part of it. It's part of it. But you know, we will, you know, we'll also talk about, we also need to tell them about like the habit of us even coming together, you know, but that kind of ties into some of these other steps with environment and all those other things that we'll touch on with the last one. So anyways, bro, I appreciate you for joining me today. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, guys, can stay tapped in, take that action step, and reach out, okay?
No doubt.
Peace.
Look.